If you need a big hauler for big space, this is a big opportunity for you, one right here. My name's Josh, RV Nerd. Welcome to Bish's RV. Actually, welcome to the annual Alliance RV Rally, where I'm getting a chance to see what's new here. For the most part, they haven't reinvented Valor. They gave it a couple new looks in a few places, but you're kind of starting to see, instead of each member of the Alliance family looking and feeling very different, you're finding they're finding their alliance identity together. What I mean by that is, like, you're seeing a little bit more of a homogenized decor. I personally like the look of it. It's very subjective, so you might not. But this model right here, this is when you need the big space for the big things. Like, we have a 14-foot garage. So if you've got the larger side-by-sides, or you're looking for just a monster 3 Seasons patio room, or you're looking for an all-purpose flex function room, it can be laundry, it could be office, it could be bunks, guest rooms, sleeping, and it can be any and all of those things essentially all at the same time, which I think is actually very cool. But this one is very large. We're definitely in dually country here, but that means that we also have like a no sacrifices kitchen and living room area with this gigantic wraparound lounge sofa that I personally really like. You've got the theater seat function, you've got a napping couch kind of function. This RV, let me just start listing off stuff. We've got dual Asdel walls, 8-foot 5-inch wide body, 6-point hydraulic auto leveling, 0-200 degree rated, holding tank heat pads. We've got the option for that 6,000 generator up front, triple air conditioner, dual laundry hookup, just everything you can imagine packed on this. And this doesn't even have necessarily all the options on it. It's funny because historically I wasn't a big toy hauler guy, but Valor was the first brand I looked at where I was like, I can see this. I can kind of get that. And we're going to go through in some pretty deep detail. If you appreciate all the extra things we're doing for you, like all the storage and whatnot, hit that subscribe button. Let us know we're doing a good job. And as we go, let me know what you think about this one, please. And I never know what order to cover toy haulers in, so we're just going to knock out the living space here, then the bathroom, then the bedroom, and then we're going to hop back to the garage. And if you want to check out one specific area, I'll have the video chapter marked so that you can bounce around to that more easily. The basically we're at the position of the entry door and the staircase, and like right when you walk in the door here, you come right into the kitchen. And I'll get you a better look at this, but first of all solid surface countertops through the kitchen space. But these wraparound U-shaped kitchens, I love these because when you're in this space, you can access everything in the kitchen. But when I'm standing here doing stuff, I'm not like necessarily disconnected from the fun and the flow of things. And in a lot of travel trailers and fifth wheels, whoever is doing the kitchen prep work is kind of sacrificing their entertainment for everyone else's benefit while they kind of sit around and do some R&R and shoot the breeze, chew the fat, etc. You don't have that problem here. Although these the seat that's closest to us, those are theater recliners, and you see that like that pivoting TV, if you want to swing it around or just wrap everybody around the couch, or if you want to stuff a pillow over here in the corner of this sucker, that is a nice long napping lounge. And because this is a toy hauler, haulers tend to be taller inside. Unintentional rhyming there, but I'll take it. So that allows them the gigantic picture windows that a lot of people really like. And this RV has some decent campsite window coverage, a little bit more coverage over here. But that also, since the ceiling was tall, the slide was tall, they added extra storage up there because why not? Now, they first came out with this decor in Paradigm last year, and it just immediately exploded in popularity. And for the first time ever, the entire Alliance family essentially has one cohesive look. Each series used to kind of run its own decor, and they kind of said, what if a Valor doesn't need to look like a Valor, a Delta doesn't need to look like a Delta? What if an Alliance just looks like an Alliance? And I kind of think that was a good decision overall. It just, because like if you like, sometimes you'll like one Alliance, but like maybe you like the Avenue, but they don't make the floor plan you make. Now you can get the same look and just kind of move up or down in features. But if you don't like the decor, then, you know, that's obviously a major problem. So sitting over here in the L-shaped section of the sofa, oh man, this is nice and deep. I have been on my feet stomping around this whole area for a couple days. This is, I think that's Yep, that looks like Mr. Bill Martin walking his dog over there. I think that's Herb the dog, if I'm not mistaken, over there with the blue shirt. But anyway, sitting here at the sofa space, I mean, this is entertainment central right here, boardwalk and park place kind of entertainment. You've got the extra wide space heating fireplace down below, taking the nip out of the air. There's also this little pocket. Hold on. Oh my gosh, this couch is deep. It took me a minute to try to get up here. Little pocket around the side. I don't remember, are there power outlets or? Oh, there are. I would probably use that as like a little phone charger station. I don't know. It might be sized just enough for like a small coffee maker, something like that. I'm not sure. There's one thing that kind of surprised me about this little dining arrangement over here. I appreciate that it's a no knee knocker. I like how they mounted the power outlets between the chairs up a little bit higher. You know, they could have left them by the floor, but they got them up a little bit. This table doesn't pivot. And that surprises me because like Paradigms do. And a Valor is kind of just a toy hauler Paradigm, sort of. And if that table could pivot and rotate 90 degrees so that we had like a campsite overlook dining bar or desk, ooh, that would be sexy. I think that would be very, very cool. Very similar to Paradigm. We've got that upper crown molding lighting right there, just adding some really nice accent to it. Now, you might notice how the camera's kind of color changing a little bit. These kind of executive gray tone decors with some brown accents, my camera just struggles to beat the band to really see these naturally and organically. So I highly recommend checking one of these out in person. That is a, I think, 20 cubic foot, 12 volt compressor fridge. Alliance being one of the very first big luxury fifth wheel brands to standardize that. And a lot of people don't realize Alliance is an independent company. Almost weekly, somebody asks me, who owns Alliance? Alliance owns Alliance. And I think that's probably also part of the reason they've been able to be so in tune and responsive with their service side of things. You talk to the people here around this rally, and it's one of the most dedicated, diehard groups of fans bordering on fanatics I think I've ever seen. Basically to the tune of they're like, hey, we'll after the way Alliance took care of me, we'd never buy something else again. And what I appreciate about that is that says to me Alliance recognizes, hey, we're not always perfect, but we're going to do the best we can to take care of everybody, you know? I don't hear that kind of sentiment and confidence expressed in a lot of other RV companies out there today. Now, a couple extra details. They actually reinforced their kitchen drawers to hold a little bit more weight. And they actually essentially just use scrap materials that were left over from other, construction aspects within their factory attached to the bottom of the drawers just to reinforce the strength of it so that if you load those drawers up heavily, it's a lot harder for that bottom of the drawer to just kind of like fail and fall out, which that's something you talk to some full-time RVers. That's a thing, Couple other cool details over here in this kitchen. They've got some intelligent power outlet locations where they can. Then this thing right here, if you want to, you can actually put a wastebasket down in there and just, drop your stuff in it when you're done with it. Then there's an outside, baggage door, effectively, where you could get into that so that you never really have to dedicate space for a wastebasket. Although if you just prefer one inside, you may have noticed under that sink, they left you a big space there. And I kind of realized I sort of skipped over this side of the kitchen right here. I figure you're probably going to want to see inside of all the storage here. I appreciate how that cabinet door above the refrigerator floats on its own a little bit with the gas struts to make life a little simpler. Nice, big, deep pantry. I like the lighting in the pantry so you can see what you're doing too. And the more modern style bottom chest freezer seems to be the popular trend nowadays, doesn't it? Now, the storage around the entertainment center is definitely more shallow and limited, although that big, tall left space right there, that actually is pretty decent. As I mentioned, that TV can pivot around, so if you do want to, basically there's no bad seat on the sofa or in the kitchen. If you're just standing in the kitchen working all day, kind of keeping an eye on something, doing some prep work for later, you know, you don't have to crane your neck around too awful hard. We mentioned earlier, but just to kind of showcase for you that full overhead storage again, not cutting any corners, making sure that it holds itself open. Pocket screwed, lumber core cabinetry with the magnet holdbacks. But this right here, this a lot of manufacturers on these wraparound sofas won't do anything with the long bench, and they basically gave it its own full theater seat arrangement. Now, your interior theater seats closer to the corner are manual ripcords. Your end seats, though, are power. And apologies for kind of bouncing around like that. This floor plan is awesome, but it's very difficult to try to hit all in one shot, you know. And I'm moving at a somewhat abbreviated pace. Obviously, I'm still talking quite a bit, but we do have a number of people wanting to get in here and check this out. Now, Alliance said, hey, take the time you need, lock the doors, go through, make your footage for everybody. But I also don't want to be that guy who necessarily holds everything up. So let's get over here. We've got our RV King bed slide out, which you know, some big haulers have, some do not. If I get over here actually showcasing you in the slide, you can see how they give you breeze around windows, I guess is the best way I can say that. But the little mini, you know, side stands, a place to set your phone at night with the household and the USB plugs integrated right into there. That's stuff that I appreciate. Now, these actually have a factory standard triple air conditioner system. Your living room has its own thing. Garage has its own thing. Bedroom and bathroom share one mini ducted air. All the rest are standalones. So you essentially have 3-zone cooling so that you don't have one room that turns into an ice box and then one that you're sweating to the oldies. Now you're going to get to see a little bit of a post right here. This actually has a dual entry bedroom bathroom. This is just a personal opinion. I personally don't care for the dual entries, but it does make it easier for me to navigate around and get footage like this. Now, in this center section right here, you might notice you actually do have a second set of washer-dryer hookups. So this RV gives you 2 choices. I guess you actually haven't maybe seen the other set, but in the garage, you have a washer-dryer setup as well. So you have 2 different laundry potential solutions for this model right here, which can kind of turn it into almost like a little bit of like a European efficiency kind of camper where you have a shared living area, then split bed, bath, etceteras. Not exactly, since it's a bath and a half and not a full true bath, but you get the idea. Where it can make this floor plan really interesting is if you have, like, I've met some people that get a giant toy hauler because they want to camp with their adult friends. It's not necessarily only about being used as a different kind of bunkhouse. Or if someone has, you need a literal mother-in-law suite, you know, like dad lives with us now and he needs his own space. Or if you have an adult child, special needs, they need their own little areas. This is an RV that you wouldn't think of it by default, but it can actually service those unconventional needs extremely well. Now, under the bed, obviously easy lift, but I wanted to pop these open so that you could see the chair, geez, oh Pete's, well, yes, the chairs, but the table and chairs arrangement that we saw earlier, it does include chairs. I know I'm stumbling over my words far worse than normal right now, everybody. Here at the rally last night for charity, they did a dunk tank thing. And they asked me if I wanted to participate to help raise some money for their family is what they call it, you know, fundraisers. And they do things like, I mean, the money goes to help kids with cancer and Humane Society and some awesome, awesome causes. And I said, sure. What I didn't realize is the water was like 60 degrees. And, you know, we had 20-minute cycles in that dunk tank. And everybody took it like champs, but I mean, man, I'm wore out. Did not sleep well last night at the local Fairfield Inn. Never mind all that. Taking a look here, the space around the toilet in this model has always frustrated me. If you notice, there's like, it's very problematic for right-handed people. Like the countertop, the cabinetry, it's just kind of in my way. Did you notice, by the way? This is solid surface countertop, though, even in the bathroom. They don't drop down to, like, thermofoil. Now, you've got this double medicine cabinet, but if I pop this open, it actually has a little bonus feature. A little bit of kind of hideaway linen storage included up here. So you do have a place to keep some towels in this thing, which is awful nice. The shower, though. Look at the headroom above my shower in this thing. As frustrating as the toilet was, the shower was not. Because you actually have a step down shower. The shower floor pan itself is slightly lower than the main floor. So if you are a bigger, taller person, this actually leaves some pretty excellent space. Okay, we're going to go back to the garage. Real quick, though, I'm going to go ahead and pop the slides closed and do a little bit of road mode looking. Or, rather, I was going to. Got this slide closed. You need to detach the power end theater seat over here. And it does not want to come off. I don't know if somebody gave it the atomic elbow drop and got her wedged in there. My chicken arms are not getting this thing off. I've never struggled with one like this before. In case you're wondering why my face looks so red, it's not actually because I'm winded from doing this. I ate a ton of sun recording this stuff yesterday, and my idiot self, without my wife to think for me, didn't pack things like sunscreen from a one-day adventure. So yeah, I'm feeling the burn a little bit today. But long story short, you have to detach this, and then when the slides close, you can walk in, you can get to the kitchen, you can get to the bedroom, bathroom, you can get to some of the fridge, but not a whole lot. Actually, I might be able to shift which slides are located which way to give you a little bit better idea of that. Stand by. Backing up a little bit, here's what I mean. With the door side slide closed, ignoring the other slide for a second, because again, obviously normally they would both be pinched together. And when you do that, you will block that door. When I say you can get to some of the refrigerator, I mean very little of the refrigerator. Like if you get your hand down here, open this up, you can get your arm in there, maybe just enough to grab a pop or soda pop or whatever you feel like calling it. But that is definitely just about it. These are hydraulic slides, thankfully, so they do move fast. And even though it's just the one slide and not both, it's insane the amount of like space they represent and how they open things up. Sliding our way back here, 14-foot garage allows you to pretty much put anything in here you want to. They do rock a insulated floor. I swear every other luxury fifth wheel manufacturer likes to claim they're the only ones with any sort of insulated garage floor. And the fact is they pretty much all do it one way, shape, or form. I do appreciate how the brands have kind of got rid of that cheap roll of carpet that they used to always throw in garages. I understand why it was there, but I always kind of hated it. It just was gross. These tie downs, though, I never remember the name of these, but they give you've got 3 rows of these. They each have umpteen hookup points. You can configure this to just about any way, shape you want to, which I guess the same could kind of be said for the Happy Jack Power bed lift that we're looking at back here, because they can only basically do everything. Obviously, you've got that kind of queen-ish size bed up top. If you want to leave the top bed up and drop down only the seats, you can do that. There's just a couple little tabs that you flip, and it will, when you retract it all the way up, it'll leave it locked there, and then you can drop down just the, I guess, call them benches. Now, as you're seeing, they can fold down into a sleeper. When you roll them both over, they do kiss in the middle, make one giant mega bed, basically. You've also, of course, got the, almost like back seat of your pickup style pseudo theater seat arrangement here. Now, we also have the 3 seasons doors standard on these, so that you don't necessarily always have to, to close up the ramp every single night, although the zero gravity ramp they have in this makes that easy. Got that JBL sound system kicking back here if you want to enjoy some crunchy tunes. And again, that standalone air conditioning system. This garage actually has its own standalone air. The reason I like that not being ducted is if you are loading something with an internal combustion engine, you're going to have exhaust back here. It will, there's no way, well, it's not that there's no way. You've greatly reduced the opportunity for that exhaust to kind of, backfeed and bleed back into the RV. Now these patios are super fun. It's early morning here at the rally. We've got the golf carts in full effect. Everybody's zipping around like crazy here. We need an air traffic controller to coordinate these things, I swear. But I tell you, this is a very fun environment being out here in the mornings like this. Not, I guess, terribly different from a lot of park camping that I'm used to, but everyone here is just really having a good time. And that's just, it's a more fun environment to be around. Working our way back around here now that I've stalled enough time. Notice when the beds are in the sleeper position though, they will each have their own lights, own outlets. You do have another 12-volt smart TV up in that region. And we also have that loft space right there. You might notice it does include its own attachable ladder. And I have the ladder legs currently just off the floor, keep in mind, because I'm using the ladder to help hold this half bathroom door open. Otherwise, it kept wanting to swing itself closed. But you get the general idea. Working our way up and around here. I do like this newer trend where RV manufacturers have kept the loft open into the garage and not open into the living cavity. That's never been something that really excited me personally. I don't know. This just works better for my preferences. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. What's your opinion? Which direction do you prefer the loft to face? Again, you do have dual laundry hookups back here if you want to put either a second unit. I can't imagine somebody. Is there anyone who needs a second washer dryer? Or just throwing a unit back here instead, you have that opportunity. And the little half bath, it was tight around the elbows, but overall got the job done. Solid surface counter, even back here. Stainless sink, very nice touches. There's not like a lot of storage back here because this is basically you're just going to wash your hands, use the bathroom, you're going to get out kind of thing. But thankfully, they did think ahead far enough to make sure that this is properly ventilated, which I I appreciate. Now, when it comes to towing recommendations, I'm going to suggest diesel dually, and that's pretty much going to be the end of my conversation on that topic there. She's big. She's really big. And even for short hauls, you need big power to be able to move this sucker around. So you can see there that the triple awning plus the rear patio power awning. This thing can give you just all kinds of awesome shaded window coverage here. And I tell you what, this is the base Valor. Valor and Paradigm both, to me, they look absolutely fantastic. They look like a full body paint package, even though they're not. And then they offer full paint packages on top of that. It just has a very sharp, defined look to me. I like the contrast. I like the little red accent. For me, it just works. They've also, though, enhanced the ride and handling a little bit lately here. Up front here, having that Helix pin box. All the testing has kind of shown this transfers significantly less stress from this area up into the chassis of your RV. So basically, it's causing the just less jiggle banging and roller quaking of the RV as a result. And since it's right at the pin location, it's going to soften the blow of the ride and handling as well. The 6,000 generator down here, if you are off grid, can basically run anything and everything you want. You notice too, it's like they expanded the front storage compartment. One of the tricks of toy haulers, they often have very limited outside pass-through storage. So I think opening up that front kind of bulkhead wall right there was a really good decision for maximizing your storage potential. These typically have very good holding tank capacities. They have some decent base solar with some bigger optional solar also available on these. One of the things though is like you're never going to be able to overcome the demand of all those air conditioners just off solar. And that's kind of why having a generator is very handy on this. If you are going to kind of be boondock off-grid camping, that can work. Now I didn't open this. Oh, I got just lucky enough. The water manifold bypass system right here. Something that Valor started last year that I've noticed Brother Paradigm has picked up next to this new water filtration system we have here. But if you need to shut off any individual water fixture, it's all clearly labeled, and it's just the flick of a switch will accomplish that for you. Now it's a little bit windy. I don't necessarily want to leave that open. And hey, thankfully the wind took care of that for me. Something else that I mentioned in the kitchen was how you have that drop down trash receptacle space. I am personally a big fan of when they make these like driver's side trash drop through arrangements right here. And it's, if you don't want to put a trash can in here for some reason, you don't have to. But it just, for me, it makes it like collecting all of that and getting it out of the RV just a little simpler and easier. And it just, this side of the RV feels more like the utility side of the RV. I don't know how else to say it other than it just feels correct. Notice how the top flange on the bedroom slide is black to kind of match the like the decal package. It's interesting. I don't usually see manufacturers change something like that up because they don't do it on the other slides. But again, when the slides are retracted, it'll carry the same look. It'll always look very thoughtful and complete that way. For a second, I thought they might have space in here for 40-pound propane tanks, but due to where that that mount is located, I think 30s are probably the most you're going to be able to get in here. I noticed they kind of borrowed a little note from Delta, including a little indoor-outdoor picnic table in this pass-through. That's not a small feature. That's a really thoughtful, everyday feel and function thing, kind of like these three-way switches right here. So being able to, like, the things that are on this side of the RV, the 3 awnings and this slide, you can stand outside to open and close those without ever needing to go in or out of the RV. You don't need to go Bluetooth digital. You just push the button. It just makes more sense. I just like that. This, of course, you know, for this kind of weight, we are tri-axle. You've got the Cooper H-rated tires on here, the MoreRide CRE 3000 suspension package. If you don't know what that means, CRE, compression, rubber, equalization. 3000 translates into a 3-inch travel variance on your wheels. So now you know. And guess what the CRE 4000 does? That's 4 inches of travel. You don't see a lot of those being used anymore, though. Now, you may have also noticed how it does have the 3 seasons room on that rear patio space right there. It is a little bit windy. Otherwise, I would have loved to have taken the opportunity to open all the windows, I'm an idiot. Awnings, yeah, the other thing. All the awnings for you, but not quite in the cards. Now, that is also, I call it an anti-gravity ramp door. It's one of those MoreRide 0G doors where it basically has its own cable kind of tension system where it's just a simple, easy one hand up and down where you don't have to like lift everything. And the gates, the ramp gates that we're looking at, they're not actually attached to the ramp. That's one of them well, there's a lot of differences between a Valor and a Valor All Access little brother, but the ramp treatment is a major difference, I think, because I'm the guy that often has to set these up. Now that ladder can it's already mounted on the back. That can get you up to the roof to take care of all your sealants and check on your solar package. I'm shooting from memory here. Apologies if I get this wrong. I feel like 800-watt solar package is standard on these, and then you can upgrade a little bit further. This uses a little bit different key than I have in my pocket. Apologies. But this is your fueling station, and if you notice, you have 2 inlets. You have one dedicated for the fuel station, and then one for the generator, 2 separate 30-gallon tanks. If you want to only fuel the generator, you can cross-plumb over to, well, not cross-plumb, you can pump your auxiliary tank into the generator tank, but they are intentionally split in case you want to use like a little bit higher octane fuel for whatever toys you're running around, but the generator is always going to be its own tank. Well, I've talked enough. I tell you what I'll do. Down in the description, I'll leave you links like I always do. If you want to be able to like, what is the price of this? Where can I get one of these? You'll have one link right there where you can check all of that. And that link will always auto-update as well. So even if you watch this video 2 years from now, if this model's still in production, that link will still work for you. The RV just might have a couple new updates after that. I might look up a couple other big, giant toy haulers that I've recorded at some point and maybe leave you some links to those and let you decide which one you would go with and why. And if you appreciate appreciate how we just try to be fair and straightforward with you here. Hit that subscribe button. Maybe we'll see you again. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.